Is part of your project, the various words I'm using here, is part of your project a kind of restoration or a reminder that certain markers are fundamental and cannot be moved?
Well, that is the project. I mean, when I wrote my first book, which
Yep.
took me about 15 years to write, and I spent all my time, except when I was writing scientific papers, and when I was socializing, which I did a fair bit of, thinking about that book. I mean, it was really an obsessive thinking, chronic, from the time I woke up till the time I went to bed, unless I was engaged in some other activity that would shut down my mind. I was trying to understand whether there was a foundation of stone underneath the presumptions of Western civilization, and it was really a postmodern book, Maps of Meaning, which I didn't understand because at the time, being unfamiliar with that lexicon, let's say, there was the terrible Cold War raging, and it wasn't obvious that it wasn't merely a matter of opinion. You could make that case is that, well, here's your set of Marxist presuppositions, many of which sounded incredibly attractive and which still do.
To some,
From each according to his ability, to each according to his need. I mean, no one likes to see people with needs unfulfilled. The problem is that needs multiply without end and ability is limited. But, you have to start thinking about the world in a harsh and sophisticated way to notice that flaw. I wanted to analyze that system and the Nazi system to a lesser degree, but also that, and the Western system, to see if there was something at the bottom that was rock-like, that wasn't merely arbitrary. And I believe that what I discovered, let's say, or thought through, was that we got some things in the West fundamentally correct, and they're correct for biological reasons, which is very important because we've been around a very long time, and biological reasons are very fundamental, but also that biology reflects some underlying metaphysics as well that we don't understand, because we don't understand anything about the fundamental nature of the world. It's beyond us.
The why.
Yes, the whys and the wherefores, for that matter, the purpose, all of that. The fact that people have religious experiences and that they're easily duplicable and that they seem to be consistent across societies, at least to some degree. And what I decided then, because I was trying to understand why the world had divided itself up into armed camps that were hell-bent on mutual destruction, right? Mutual assured destruction, right? The terrible acronym MAD, which was, an insane satanic joke. And why it was so important for us to defend our tribal positions in that manner, and what, if anything, could be done about it. Like, here's the solution. We have this terrible tribal warfare that's characteristic of our species, and it's accelerated to a degree that's not sustainable. What do we do about it? And the answer that came to me as a consequence of what I studied was that we try to make ourselves better people. The solution to tribalism is the elevation of the individual, and the West got that right.
The individual is the atom.
Yes.
That begins the entire reaction.
Yes.
And that's why the identity politics makes the individual a simple avatar of the collective.
Right.
And everything that attaches to him is always extrinsic and not essential.
Yes, exactly.
And you strip personality, and we're adding up groups and trying to administer justice via a collective. It's insane.
Yeah,
Why do we
terrible. It's terrible. It's so dangerous.
And I heard you on this. Why do we seek to perpetrate some sort of justice over the generations? It was one of the worst things in all of history that you would make the son or the daughter carry the sin of their parents.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing it in reparations again.
Yeah.
All the ideas that we thought had been completely wiped out, either Enlightenment or just civil logic itself, they're back.
Yeah.
And why are we so easily yielding to this? I mean, the patterns of correctness in language and people kind and things of that order. It's an absurdity.
Well, I think some of it is the desire to escape from individual responsibility. If you can dissolve yourself in the collective, and then the impetus isn't on you to act as forthrightly as would otherwise be necessarily the case. So there's that, and then there's the undeniable attraction of having someone to blame for the miseries of your existence. which are likely manifold.
It's also the comfort of saying I can start a small war with one tribe and another, and we can play games with each of these blocks. It won't be a society, it won't be a country. But if you dissolve the collective politics, I mean the real politics, into subcategories of gender, sex, ethnic, religion, and each of these is now claiming a right only as a collective, everything else falls apart.
Yeah.
You know your Yeats,
Yeah.
and there's
Yeah,
no need
right.
to quote it.
Yeah.